Star Drill. In this activity, players are developing their passing and receiving skills and their spatial awareness. The practice provides challenging situations where decisions need to be made on the run. In a 10 metre by 10 metre area, have 3 players on each corner marker facing in towards the middle of the square. 2 balls are used at once and several spares should be available. The player with the ball should pass diagonally across the square to the player opposite and should then follow their pass, thus ending up diagonally opposite to where they started. There will be 2 balls and 2 players going at once across each other's path, so players will have the opportunity to develop awareness and vision. Players should be encouraged to maintain good habits by using the insides of feet, furthest foot, change of feet and so on. Quick feet. Quick feet sessions are essential if young soccer players are going to develop to their full potential. In this quick feet activity, place a number of soccer balls evenly spaced in a 10 metre by 10 metre grid. Place a number of markers evenly spaced around this area. On the coach's signal, the players do a circle of the ball using a forward, sideways, backward motion, without touching the ball and with very quick, light steps. They then move quickly to another ball and do the same, and so on. Their objective is to circle as many balls as possible in 30 seconds. At the end of the exercise, on the coach's instruction, the players quickly run to one of the markers outside the area.
Dribbling square, coach's call. This is an exercise which enables players to test their close control in ever-changing circumstances. Start in a 20 metre by 20 metre grid and then, when players are starting to perform comfortably, move into a 10 metre by 10 metre grid. The players should dribble around, keeping the ball moving away from legs and into spaces. Use language such as keep the ball moving, have lots of touches, turn away from the legs and attack spaces. On the coach's instruction, players should perform the appropriate turn. Turn 1, using the inside of the foot, turn right the way around before using the opposite foot to go back in the opposite direction. Turn 2, using the outside of the foot, turn right the way around before using the opposite foot to go back in the other direction. Turn 3, as before, but now using the drag back technique. Use one foot first and then the other. Work hard to turn in as small a circle as possible and with as few touches as possible.
Elimination ball. This is a competitive practice which enables players to develop their keep ball techniques in a real action situation. All players work within a 20 metre by 20 metre grid, each with their own ball. They should dribble around, keep the ball moving into spaces and away from legs. The difficulty can be increased by using only a 10 metre by 10 metre grid. On the coach's call, the players attempt to kick each other's ball from the square or force players to kick their own ball out. Players are eliminated when their ball is kicked out, and the coach should ensure that they don't spoil the game by still participating. Who is the last one standing? As players are eliminated, the coach might set them a task while they wait for the drill to be completed. For example, practice your juggling or turning. Turning square 1, insides. This is an ideal activity to practice turning with the ball in close proximity of other players. In a 10 metre by 10 metre grid, place markers in the centre and organise 3 players in each corner, one behind the other, with a ball per group. At the coach's instruction, one player from each corner dribbles the ball to the markers in the centre of the square. The players then turn using the inside of the foot and then dribble home. The coach calls the waiting players to repeat the exercise. This exercise is repeated several times using both feet.
Turning square 2, outsides. This is an ideal activity to practice turning with the ball in the close proximity of other players. In a 10 metre by 10 metre grid, place markers in the centre and organise 3 players in each corner, one behind the other, with a ball per group. At the coach's instruction, one player from each corner dribbles the ball to the markers in the centre of the square. The players then turn, using the outside of the foot, and then dribble home. The coach calls the waiting players to repeat the exercise. This exercise is repeated several times using both feet.
Turning Square 3, Drag Back. This is an ideal activity to practice turning with the ball in the close proximity of other players. In a 10 metre by 10 metre grid, place markers in the centre and organise 3 players in each corner, one behind the other, with one ball per group. At the coach's instruction, one player from each corner dribbles the ball to the markers in the centre of the square. The players then turn using the drag back and turn and then dribble home. The coach calls the waiting players to repeat the exercise. This exercise is repeated several times using both feet.
Four versus 4 versus 4. This exercise ideally takes place in an area 20 metres by 30 metres. However, in the early stages, an area of 30 metres by 30 metres or even 40 metres by 30 metres may be needed. The coach should gauge the size of an area needed by the degree of success the players achieve. If the defenders win too easily, then the area is too small, and conversely, if they achieve little success, then it is too large. The players are divided into 3 teams of 4. 2 of these teams play against the third, 8 versus 4, and aim to keep possession. The coach rewards the team of 4 every time they gain possession or force the team of 8 to play outside the designated area. The team of 4 immediately return possession to the team of 8 and try to score again. The coach should rotate the teams about every 60 seconds. Which team scores the most goals? This is an excellent practice for developing good receiving and passing skills under reasonable pressure. Players' attacking team skills are practiced, forming triangles and diamonds, and it will also enable players to learn to defend as a group.
Four versus 4 with 4 out. This is a practice which encourages players to develop their decision-making skills and vision whilst helping to reinforce good passing and receiving habits. In a 20 metre by 20 metre area, 2 teams of 4 players play possession soccer. There are 4 other players on the outside of the square, one on each side, and these players support both teams. The players in the square attempt to keep possession of the ball by dribbling and/or passing to their teammates. They may also pass the ball to any player on the outside of the square. That player then has to pass the ball back to the same team. This is an excellent game to allow players to practice their passing and receiving skills. Change the players around regularly so that everyone gets plenty of practice. The coach can progress the game by introducing a method of scoring. When a team passes the ball to a player on the outside, a goal is scored if the player then passes the ball to a teammate. You cannot score with the same outsider twice in a row. The coach can make it even harder by insisting that the outsider has only one touch if a goal is to be scored.
Four versus 2. This is a game-centred practice designed to enable players to practice passing and receiving under a degree of pressure. Set up 2 20 metre by 20 metre areas. Organise 6 players of the same colour in each area. Then ask 2 players from each area to change places. You should end up with 4 of one colour and 2 of another in each area. The aim of this drill is for the 4 players of the same team to keep the ball away from the opposing players by passing, dribbling if necessary, and moving around their area. Encourage players to keep moving, to form triangles and diamonds, and to use correct passing and receiving technique. Example, furthest foot, change feet to change the picture, etc. After about a minute, swap the 2 away from home players until each team member has had a go. The coach may play 2 or even 3 rounds if required. Encourage players to maintain their receiving and passing standards, insides of feet, furthest foot, and change of feet to move the ball away from defenders, and so on. Scoring can be introduced by rewarding the away team for winning possession. Possession is won if they can force the home team to play the ball outside the square, or if the away team can have 2 consecutive touches, either individually or as a pair. They then need to return the ball to the home side so they can try to score again. Six versus 6. This is a game-centred practice containing all the necessary elements of the game. In an area 40 metres by 30 metres, play 6 versus 6 soccer. There are 5 outfield players and 1 goalkeeper. If a goal is scored at either end, change the goalkeepers of both teams. Rotate the goalkeepers so that all players take a turn at being the goalkeeper. There are no corner kicks. If the ball goes out over the back line, it will be a goalkeeper's ball. There is no offside. Take throw-ins as usual. Encourage players to support each other by forming lots of imaginary triangles and diamonds. This is where all our passing, receiving and dribbling skills are put to the test. Encourage players to adopt good habits. These games will help the players learn about attacking and defending and enable them to develop group skills. Let the game be their teacher. Step over inside to out and away opposite leg. The player dribbles in a straight line before stepping over the ball with the right leg from inside to out and immediately using the outside of the left foot to change direction and accelerate away. Repeat the exercise by using the opposite legs.
Step over double inside to out. The player dribbles the ball in a straight line before stepping the right leg over the ball from the inside to out. As soon as the move is completed, the player repeats the step over with the opposite leg and then immediately changes direction using the outside of the right foot and accelerating away. Try the move again, however this time start with the left leg, followed by the right and finally away with the outside of the left foot.